So have you ever entered the mysterious portal of semi-final, and there on the ground you come across a little bag, an old friend that, having once held only questions, now conceals an answer. Spider-Man versus Dick Grayson. Who wins? Okay, so we are at semi-final number one. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
This thing got bigger than us, and we decided that we were going to recruit some of our old friends that have helped us along the way, not just with this series, but with the show. And we thought we'd get their in-depth opinions about what they think. We'd get them to write down who they think is better.
Yep.
And then we put them in. Anyone remember the old bag?
The old bag.
There it is.
No one will remember the old bag because it was never on. Oh no, it was on camera. I'll take it back.
So, yep, that's what we've got for you today.
Yep.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's hear what some nerds think of comic book characters.
My first introduction to Spider-Man will have been from the 90s cartoon show. That'll have been my kind of first memories. That was when people were watching Batman or X-Men, I was watching Spider-Man religiously.
My first introduction to Spider-Man was the UK reprints of, at the time, the story was the Clone Saga. Now, everyone rips the Clone Saga, but I mean, I read it again recently and I still like it. I mean, at the time when I read it, it was just, yeah, it was really good. Just Spider-Man was brutal, and then they had the whole Scarlet Spider thing running around, which everyone hated, but I still liked, you know.
I'd love to say it was the Ditko Lee, but I'm afraid it wasn't. It was Todd McFarlane's run on Spider-Man. And it was the artwork and the storyline that got me into it. I love Spider-Man with a passion.
I mean, the TV show I did watch in continuity, and that was my introduction to a lot of characters as well as Spider-Man. And you know, not a great Peter Parker. Like we don't get a Peter Parker that's ever been really portrayed like in that way in anything else before.
The best trait of Spider-Man is the kind of light-hearted nature of the character. I never really liked it when they delved into the kind of brooding aspects of Peter Parker. I really like the kind of upbeat, hey, how's it going? And you know, he's one of the few superheroes that, for me, I know a lot of people disagree, but for me, just nails the comedy.
I'm a big Muhammad Ali fan. If you don't know who that is, boxer from back in the time, and if you don't know who that is, you should also just find out because he's amazing. And one of his big tactics, it was a psychological tactic during a fight, was to constantly be talking to his opponents, and he would constantly be kind of berating them, saying, you know, is that all you've got? Is that all you've got? And although I know some people have issues with Spider-Man, kind of, you know, with his quips and stuff like that, but I always saw it as that, you know, he was mocking his opponents and he was driving them into these fits of rage and stopping them from being as smart as they could be when it, you know, came to being, you know, aggressive. So, you know, it was pure aggression, not any tactical thought in their attack.
He's a massive staple of the Marvel Universe, you know. He was pretty much a massive, well, he's pretty much one of the biggest feathers in Stan Lee's cap, you know. He's become such an institution, even though he's a lot younger than some of the really well-established comic characters like Superman or Batman from DC and stuff who've been around since, you know, the late 30s and things like that. But yeah, he's just made such an impact. So whether you love him or you hate him, you can't ignore him. You know, Spidey is Spider-Man, you know, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, you know, where all the references like Family Guy, everybody gets one.
One of the reasons I think he's most popular is web slinging. Like, that motion of swinging through the city is like nothing else. And the way it's drawn on the panel, you think of almost every classic Spider-Man cover, with the exception of a few, Spider-Man whipping and swinging and through New York City. It's unlike anything else you've seen. Batman on the rooftop, Superman, you can't see him. A lot of these things, you know, it's about surprise. But like, you think Spider-Man just swings through the city? I love the idea that there are people just on the ground, like, there he goes. Like, it really fulfills that sort of whimsical feeling about him.
The best thing about Peter Parker is that I'm Peter Parker. That's the best thing about Peter Parker. I did a theoretical physics degree, just like Peter Parker did. I became a physics teacher, which is what's happened in the Straczynski run, and I'm Peter Parker. And I say that kind of as a joke, but not, because I think the best thing about Peter Parker is that people can associate themselves with him and be him and understand him and know that when he's doing something, it's decisions that you may have made yourself, or if you don't make them yourself, you would associate yourself.
The worst things, you know what? I've always loved Spider-Man. And I'm not much of a nitpicky person. I don't really know of any worse things about Spider-Man. This isn't really the character's fault. More along the lines of the whole one more day thing. There is plot-induced stupidity about that, in the whole fact that he's got access to people like Doctor Strange and all these other people, and he made a deal with the devil just to stop his aunt from dying. You know, bit stupid, really.
He was emo before emo was ever a thing, you know? I'm Peter Parker, I can't talk to girls. So, yeah, he was pretty much the foundation of what was going to become the emo movement, if you ask me.
It doesn't really necessarily relate to his character, more the world that's been created around him. I get, he was bitten by a spider, and that's cool. I'm with that. Did all of his villains have to be based on animals? We've got a rhino, we've got a vulture, we've got a scorpion, we've got a lizard, we've got an iguana. Not a lizard wasn't enough. We had to go with an iguana as well.
And a chameleon.
And a chameleon. I didn't know that. So that's 3. There was probably a snake at some point in there as well, just to add to the list of reptiles. Constrictor, was that one of?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They were good fun when you're a kid, but it kind of gets a little bit samey.
As soon as he takes that suit off, he's kind of a whiny, annoying teenager who's grown into a whiny adult teenager. And it's painful to watch sometimes. You just want something to go right for him, and it's always going wrong. And I think that's the worst thing. It gets a bit tiring seeing everything go wrong for this guy.
Dick Grayson, as with I imagine a lot of people, was the 60s TV show. The short pants, the holy catchphrases and everything like that. They were hilarious. They were brilliant.
My first introduction will have actually been an issue of Nightwing. It's a one-off issue that I have from the Dixon era, and it was my brother's. And I just remember thinking how striking the costume came across with the big blue bolt.
Because it's not Nightwing, it's Dick Grayson. What is my first introduction to Robin? God knows. Robin is one of these characters that is in the public consciousness, it seems, forever. I probably was. Well, I definitely was watching the animated series. I definitely saw some of the Adam West stuff. I definitely had, so this character of Robin is just completely iconic. Dick Grayson and the character of Nightwing kind of evolving from that. I didn't wait till much leter on.
I didn't properly start paying attention to Nightwing until probably well into a lot of the later stuff, like late 80s, early 90s, leading up to Nightfall, things like that, when you'd gotten to the stage where, Jason Todd's been and gone, and Tim Drake's been brought in as the new Robin, and so therefore blatantly Dick Grayson has grown up and evolved, so he has to take on his new thing, and he even goes to Bloodhaven, things like that. So despite knowing who Nightwing was, I didn't properly start taking an interest in reading him until later on, sort of that era, I guess.
The good thing about Dick Grayson is that his leadership skills know no bounds. In many ways, he has got the excellent sort of fighting skills, detective skills of Batman, but yet the moral courage and heroics from Superman. Incidentally, he got the name Nightwing from the Kryptonian legend of Nightwing and Flamebird, told to him by Superman. So, and the thing is, he's led so many amazing teams. He was barely out of his teens. Barely. He literally, just in his early teens, he was the leader of the Teen Titans. Then when he became Nightwing, he's still leading the Teen Titans for a while. Then he led the Outsiders. When he became Batman, he led the Justice League. Even though at the time they had the Superman stand-in, which is Mon-El from the Legion of Superheroes. Dick Grayson as Batman was the real leader of that, and his leadership skills, like I said, they know no bounds. He's the most friendly, accessible guy, and Batman himself has said on many occasions that during Infinite Crisis, when Batman needed to rally all the heroes to take on Brother Eye, he said, "No, Dick, you gather up everyone. You're the best at that. Everyone trusts you. They don't trust me," and that's all that needs to be said, really.
My favourite thing about Dick Grayson is how, as a character, we've not only seen him evolve as a person, but like physically, we've seen him evolve as well. So you do get the kind of complete metamorphosis in a character, which I think's outstanding and something that, you know, not a lot of characters, not a lot of comic books deal with.
It's the promise of Batman. Like it's the being the full hero. Bruce is so flawed. And what's so elegant and so brilliant about Nightwing is that he raises this kid to, you know, not have these flaws, and he pushes him and raises him so he can be a better hero than him, so he can be a better man than him, so he can't be as flawed and he can't be as scarred, and especially the whole thing with the parents, like, Bruce doesn't deal with the death of his parents very well. It haunts him, it informs him. We never hear about that from Nightwing, and I like to think that that's a testament of Bruce, that's a testament of that character and his mentor, and how he's grown into this, you know, what Batman could be.
He's also got, which I thought was really well articulated in the whole Batman Reborn, you know, during the Return of Bruce Wayne thing and everything like that. They brought it in greatly as Batman, where he's got a completely different fighting style. You know, he's a different, you know, different discipline. I always thought that was nice. I always thought it was good to see a good diversity between the two. Because obviously his circus training background, the Flying Graysons, everything like that. That was what always kind of stuck with me about Nightwing. I always liked that.
Worst thing about Dick Grayson. Another plot-induced stupidity thing, but it's not like major to the plot, right? He's got girls throwing themselves at him, right? And okay, when he was in Bloodhaven, he sort of got to know his landlady, who's this very attractive lady, and they were just there flirting for ages and ages. There is one bit where she is just throwing herself at him, and then he's just like, oh yeah, well, you know, I thought we were just watching a movie and stuff. Plus, there's someone I'm kind of seeing, referring to Barbara Gordon, by the way, who, you know, all they were doing, they just talk on the net. It's like, you know, they're like in a chat room basically. They never see each other face to face. It's like, oh yeah, you know, we've got a thing and all this sort of stuff, and she just gets up and just fucking walks out. And I just think, you're such an idiot. Later on as well, he's at the I'm going somewhere with this. He's training up people to do the trapeze acts and everything like that. And yeah, again, these guys are like, oh wow, yeah, you know, Dick Grayson, wow, you're so great, and this, and he's just like, walks off, prick.
I think the worst thing about Dick Grayson is the way that some writers think that they need to build him up to become Batman. And that annoys me quite a lot. I think it degrades the character, actually. I think it takes away from the development that's happened with Dick Grayson. He is who he is in his own right, and it's only until that happened in the comic books that people really got him. I think that people really understood that he's not a replacement for Batman. We're not waiting for Batman to move over so Dick Grayson can take his place.
I just wish he was a bit more confident. You know, he always, and I understand it, and this is just I think for his personal growth, I wish that he maybe took some Landmark Forum, you know, style things, you know, because he always seems to need to go back to Bruce and say, did I do a good job? Is that all right?
He does, for me at least anyway, seem to be stuck in the shadow of Batman, and he always will be. He will always be, considered the sidekick to Bruce Wayne. And it's such a shame because he is a great character and he's really got this evolution behind him, but he is stuck in a rut. And, you know, it's not like a lot of writers, like, I'm not sure who's writing Nightwing at the moment, but I don't think they're doing a particularly good job to branch out and make him a different character. You know, he is Nightwing, backup to Batman if he's ever in trouble, helps out the other Robins if they ever need it.
Okay, well, mate, no one look. There everyone, eyes away.
Should I do a little doodle?
Okay, in the bag it goes. Okay, so we asked 6 people, so it could be a tie. If it's a tie, as always,
it's up to you guys.
it's up to you people. We're gonna pull these out one at a time. I'm shaking it.
Okay, I will go first.
Okay.
I will pull the first one out.
Okay, who have we
Whose
got?
vote? Who we got?
We did tell people to sign these, but
We did. First one is for Spiderman. I have no idea who's that is.
someone has signed it, but
It's kind of been eligible. Is that May? I don't know. Maybe it's Tristan. I'm not sure. But one for Spider-Man.
One for Spider-Man. Okay.
Nice little doodle.
Okay.
It's a spider and a man. Or a boy. Could be a boy.
Get out of the bag. Okay.
God, he's shaking. He is proper shaking.
I'm really nervous. I don't know how this has happened. It just got really...
The next vote is for
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man by Dav.
Dav says Spider-Man. Okay.
All because of Superior Spidey. Ooh.
Okay, then.
Well, there you go.
What's it? Ooh, shock, he wrote.
There it is. He did. Well, that was fairly shocking. I thought
2
he'd
for
go
Spider-Man. Wow, okay. This could be a clean sweep.
What's it going to be? It's Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
Jimsicle. Birds beat spiders.
Oh, hello. Oh, different pile.
Oh, sorry.
Different pile. There we go. My turn.
Win a pile of dicks.
Okay, so it's 2-1.
2-1. Now I'm nervous.
Next one is for Spider-Man. Don't know who did that.
That was me.
That was yours. So, one more and Spider-Man wins.
Spider-Man wins it. It's the little thing. Yeah, hold them up. Let people see. I don't care. Hold them up regardless. Oh. Could this be it? Could this be the winner for Spidey? It's not. It's Nightwing. It's Daniel Morgan.
Oh my god.
Ew.
I knew one was... I didn't know if you were saying that was mine, and then I would have been like...
Oh, who's it going to be?
So, oh my god. So, this is our first finalist.
Yeah,
Maybe.
And the winner is...
The
draw
maybe,
is...
The next person is... Oh my god, it's Nightwing!
Oh!
Oh my god!
It's a tie!
Tristan is voting for Nightwing. Jesus, it's a tie.
It's a tie.
Wow.
Well, there you go. So it's up to you guys. All of that for nothing. It's up to
Oh
you
my
guys.
god, that's fantastic. I mean, so you were Spider-Man, I was Nightwing. Do you want to give like a final appeal, or do you want to sort of leave it as that?
I think everything I said has been covered by everyone who talked about Spider-Man.
I mean, you have so much to base your decision on, all different thoughts, and I really enjoyed finding out what different people were saying and things like that. But wow, it's a tie. Okay, so
the
it's up
first
to you.
finalist is up to you guys. Nightwing, Spider-Man. Tell us in the comments down below. Also tell us over on Twitter at Comic Book Show 1.
Yeah, and we will see you next Wednesday for the second semi-final.